Welcome to the More Than Mortgage podcast. Today, my guest is Alex Clarke. She is a parent of a United Volleyball player, Parker Clarke, who is on her way to Lubbock Christian University down in Lubbock, Texas. Alex, welcome and glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your daughter and how volleyball first became a part of your family's life.
So my daughter, Parker Clarke, is 17. And like you said, going to Lubbock Christian when she goes off to college. She's been playing volleyball since she's 13.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this, but I believe it was 2019. Parker did not make the first volleyball team she tried out for. That was pre-COVID.
Okay.
She tried out for a club that is no longer in existence. Okay. It was something we encouraged her to do. At the time, she was a competitive gymnast exclusively.
Wow.
And I learned all this after the fact. Yeah. And oh my, can you imagine a 13-year-old being told that when all she's hearing is, we need you to be a leader. We need you to, exactly. Like really get them going. And so it was a tough moment, but watching Parker take that on her own without, any help from mom and dad, except from behind the scenes, of course, she figured out what that really meant and how to make that benefit her team first and herself and then grow together. That's cool. She does that off the court too, to this day.
So obviously the recruiting process, you've been through it. At this point, we're committed and have a little bit of relief. Tell me, what was the college recruiting process like from a parent's perspective?
It was grueling. I'm not going to mince words because that's a good way to put it. It was grueling, but incredibly rewarding. And I think most hard things are. We were very strategic about how we tackled that process because I knew just from my own experiences and just things I've witnessed in not just volleyball, but all the sports, you get many shots at it, but your window is only so long. Yeah. So you can mess something up and reassess and tackle it from a different angle as long as you start early enough. Yeah. Makes sense. That's uncomfortable from a parent's perspective, I think, at least it was for me, because when it came time to kind of start the machine, I thought, she's not good enough yet. We can't put her out there yet. Yeah. She's not there yet. She's so close, but it feels so early. Exactly. In hindsight, I think starting early is crucial. Yeah. And you have to tell your kid, hey, I know you don't feel ready yet. You just got to get out there.
Well, it's a muscle. Like it's just like we talk about in training and other situations. You got to train it, and you get better at writing emails. The more you write them, you get better at talking to coaches. Yep. You get better at accepting no.
Yes.
Right.
And so you have to be ready to hear no.
Yeah. How was no? So we got an idea about no from Parker and talking with her. How was no for you? Especially, I know there were a few no's that hurt because there were a few no's that were places that you as a parent would have been like, this is my dream for her type thing. Oh yeah. How do you balance that?
Yeah, I approached the recruiting process with her and as parents. We kind of had like a two-sided angle. We came at it as her like assistants or her deckhands. I like to say she was steering the ship, but we were the deckhands. But then on the flip side, I was her number one supporter. Yeah. So when the no's came, I was the cheerleader. We had to say, well, that's not for you, next. Yeah. But also, what can we learn from that? How can this experience make you better? And I just kept saying, like, one no means you're one step closer to your yes.
Wow.
And
that's a great quote.
I think I'm sure I heard it on a podcast probably because I relied a lot on podcasts for help. Yeah. I was looking for information wherever I could find it.
Oh, that's cool.
And I really recommend people do that because there's a lot of information out there. Don't be afraid to ask, even if it sounds or feels silly or uninformed. they said, if you already knew you had to hear 50 no's before you got to your one yes, think of how excited you would be every time a no rolled in.
Exactly.
And it was, when I heard that, I was like, gosh, they're so right. So I just kept telling Parker, I know it hurts. I know you didn't expect that. I know, you can try to make even the ones you kind of knew would be no's. Like, it still hurts, especially to a teenage girl. So I just told her, hey, be open to everything. Be open to what's out there. Be open to receiving whatever is meant for you. But if you close off because of the pain of a no, you might miss something amazing.
Well, I remember calling you guys, and one of my buddies was like, hey, would she consider the city? She goes, she wants farm tech or farm vet tech or whatever. Yeah. He's like, that doesn't say city to me, but if she is, I'm interested. And it's like, now that's a reverse no, but it is still makes it hard, because is that going to be my only opportunity? Is this the shot we're going to get, And
you don't want to close a door on something that you might circle back to and wish you wouldn't have. Yep. But even those, early on, we cast a very wide net just to glean information. And situations like that, where it's maybe a town or too large of a city for what you're looking for, there's still really good information you can take from those experiences, even just looking up schools and talking about it over the dinner table. Because if that coach, for instance, the one you're referencing, he was a really good Division III program. Yeah. And we looked him up. We looked his schedule up. We looked up his record. We looked up the stats on his athletes and the conference he competes in. And I said, hey, this guy's really impressed with you. That means you're in the right pond. Yep. You're looking at the right schools. Yeah. Let's aim a little higher and see if they bite.
Exactly. So here's a unique question, maybe. What has volleyball taught your family?
So much. Like I said, we have chosen as a family sports as a vehicle.
And for reference, you have a son that's a freshman, going to be a sophomore?
He's going to be a sophomore. Okay. He has also done it all. Currently playing baseball and football. Okay. Has done a lot of travel basketball also over the years. And again, my husband played football. Yeah. So volleyball has taught us, number one, patience. Nobody grows up or nobody wakes up amazing at volleyball. Even if you are skilled with one ball, you might not be skilled with this ball. Yeah. Or even if you have all the physical attributes that it takes to be a good player, there's so much in the head game. Yeah, exactly. And you have to have it all in order to excel. So beyond just the athletic side of it, the patience, it's taught us the importance of community. I have yet to see, and I've watched a lot of volleyball, you know this. Yeah, exactly. I have yet to see a volleyball team excel at the highest levels without that community and camaraderie and true love for each other. Exactly. We have watched girls on paper, they should crush us, and we were able to crush them because we might have been smaller, we might have been less skilled, we might not train 5 days a week the way they do in the biggest, best facilities. But without that community, you cannot win at volleyball, period.
What, when you look at your daughter's journey, what are you most proud of?
Her growth. Just she has blossomed into who she's meant to be. The seeds were there. She has so much grit and determination and fight in her, but that if you don't temper that, especially in volleyball, it can hinder you. And so I'm so proud of her learning to harness what makes her amazing, but harness those things and allow the other more tender sides of her personality to help bring her to greatness.
If you could speak to a parent sitting in the stands at their first club tournament, what would you tell them?
Trust the process. As cliche as that sounds, we've all heard that, trust the process, but truly.
So what aspects? So give me a little detail there.
I think as parents, I'm guilty of it too. I am not perfect. I too have learned a lot through this. As parents, I think sometimes we get caught up in the idea that we want to find the path of least resistance for our kids. And that's not what it's about. Exactly. We've got to let go of that. And there's hard moments in volleyball, as with anything. Yep. So even when the hard times come, even when your kid hears something from a coach that they didn't want to hear, you know, they just they wanted that path of least resistance, and now they're being challenged in a new way. Trust the process as parents. Yep. Recognize that even that hardest moment that makes your kid cry, makes you want to cry, there is growth and learning in all the hard stuff too. Yeah. And so you got to lean into it. So
obviously we committed on the spot. I don't know if you were in the room or not at that moment. So what was it like watching your daughter achieve her dream of getting the opportunity to play in college?
I cried, and I'm not a crier like that. I knew what she wanted out of that experience when we went there. I knew what she was hoping to come away with, and I knew that it wasn't promised. Yeah, exactly. You know, you kind of can feel some things out. We really didn't know how we would leave Lubbock. Yeah. I knew she gave it her all. And I told her, I said, hey, the camps you've gone to where you've been nervous and, you know, wanted it so bad, that hasn't always gone well. Yep. But the camps that you've gone to and you've just balled out and you just went out there and you were Parker, it's been amazing. Yeah. So just go be amazing, go be Parker, because at the end of the day, I want her to be where she can be herself. Awesome. And all of herself. And so I was in the room. I was not looking. I was trying not to look because Parker knows that I'm very intuitive and like, I got the mom eye, I got eyes on the back of my head. And so I really was trying not to be a part of whatever the moment was. I didn't know if she'd leave in tears because she was sad. Yep. But it ended up being the most amazing thing. And so she called me over. I was trying to talk to other moms just to, be nonchalant about it. And she called me over, and I thought just to take a picture of her with the coach, like you tend to do at the end of camp. Exactly. And she walked up to me. By then, another girl had just walked up into line, and I didn't know what was going on. I said, oh, you want the picture? But then I could see she was kind of crying. And she said, I just accepted an offer.
Oh, wow.
And so I just hugged her, and all the moms, that were hanging around could kind of get a sense of what was happening. So she had a little
fan club or whatever.
Fan club, and congratulations and hugs. Awesome. And it was a unique experience because typically I would imagine that happens either over the phone or behind a closed door.
I mean, I don't want to take over the story, but I have one where we got lucky and got to sit a kid down, and we walked back into the gym. I don't know where y'all were, but we walked back into the gym, just me and the kid, left everybody else out. And we sat down next to her, and I said, you're it, kid. Cool. And she just, boom, didn't know anything about it. She committed, whatever. I didn't know anything about it. She came to college, and her paper about her pivot in her life was the coach who told her, you're it, kid. Wow. Oh, and it destroyed me, emotionally. You know what I mean? And so it's hard, and to have it in a group setting like that, and those parents obviously must be players' parents, and that makes it really freaking cool. You know what I mean?
Really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's our time. I appreciate you coming. This was amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks, fans.